For the season 5 reloaded, a lot of guns got changed, so the meta has kind of shifted a little bit. So in today's video, I'm gonna give you guys 5 close range guns that are the best to use, and then 5 long range guns. And I just want to let you guys know before we actually start, I base my guns off of how fast they kill initially, and then we start to look at, you know, how practical are they to use. Like, are they easy to use? Are they quick? Like, does it make sense to run this in Warzone? And also, I'm a resurgence player, so most of these class setups are only going to be for resurgence. So before we actually jump into the close range builds, let's talk about the TTK. So you guys see here, the Lockman Shroud has the best or the fastest time to kill out of the SMGs. So for that reason alone, I feel like I had to add it in. But if you exclude that one, then we got the MP5 being the fastest. But I mean, we all knew that by now. This thing is extremely dominant, and it has been since Warzone 2 released. Next up from that, we have the ISO 45 and then the Vaznev. I kind of didn't want to really add in the Vaznev because it's like a worse version of the MP5. But just to give you guys a variety of guns, there it is. So yeah, I mean, as of right now, the 2 guns I would use for SMGs would be the ISO 45 or the MP5. But if you keep watching, I have a crazy shotgun build I'm going to give you guys. And it also got buffed for this season. It's dangerous, I'm telling you guys. So to start this off, let's talk about the ISO 45. So this is no particular order. I'm just going to give you guys the best 5 to use right now, and you guys can pick which one you want. So for the ISO 45, it actually got buffed, so it has a longer damage range than having, you know, the MP5. So it's gonna feel a little bit more consistent at those longer gunfights. But just keep in mind, with a gun like this, it is kind of jumpy. Like, you guys see the red dot just flying around. But with this build you guys see here, it does minimize most of that recoil. Now, next up, what we have is the MP5. Now, the MP5 has been dominant. It's been one of the best SMGs, if not the best, for a long time now. And it still is. It's just at this point in time, a lot of the other SMGs are really starting to catch up to it, but you can't go wrong with it because it does have the fastest time to kill for SMGs within like 8 meters. So those super close gunfights, you're not really going to lose those. Next up, what we have is the Vaznev. This one is another really good one. It's almost on par with the ISO 45 and the MP5 as far as time to kill goes. Like, it's so close that you're not even going to notice the difference, to be honest. And with this build you guys see here, it's going to extend that damage range just a little bit to make it more consistent feeling, because this one does extend the damage range on this barrel. So just keep in mind, this gun is like pretty much an overall gun. Like, the recoil isn't the greatest, but it's also not bad either. And the time to kill is really nice. Movement speed, everything about this SMG is really good. So moving on from the Vaznev, I feel like we have to include the Lockman Shroud just because of how fast this thing kills. Like, as of right now, it is the fastest time to kill for the SMGs. I really don't know how practical it is because it is a burst gun. But as of right now, like I said, I just feel like we have to add it in. This is a crazy killing fast SMG. So definitely check that one out if you guys have not already. And then lastly, this is like, man, I really like this gun, and they just buffed it again. This is a consistent 2-shot kill in this game. And you can also thirst people with just 1 slug shot with this thing. So definitely look into this one. This is, like I said, it's one of my favorite guns to use right now. Super fun, super easy to use. So jumping into long range TTKs, what we see here is that all of the guns are pretty much dead even up until about 30 meters, and then past that point is when they really start to break out. The Rap H is extremely dominant, you know, all the way through. But other than that, another gun that sticks out to me is the 7.62. Just remember, that gun does have a good amount of recoil, so if you can control that, that's gonna be another good one. And then lastly, what you guys see here is the FFAR. This thing got buffed for the season, and it is pretty good. I hate to admit it, but the recoil can be a little bit tricky. So with that, I have it built for you guys that will reduce most of that recoil. So let's get into it. So now the Razorback. When you guys see YouTubers say, you know, this gun has no recoil, this is what they picture in their head. A lot of the times when they say no recoil, it has recoil. But this gun right here, I'm gonna show you guys in a little bit, this thing does not move, especially my build right here. I'm actually surprised more people don't run this build because this thing does not move at all, bro. Like, look at that. As long as you hold the analog stick down, the gun is just not going to bounce or move in any form. All right, moving on from the Razorback, we have this is like the complete opposite. This gun has a lot of recoil. This is a gun that I do not like, and I hate recommending it to you guys, because if I don't really like a gun for having too much recoil, then I know like the average person isn't going to want to put in that much effort to control a gun like this for the time to kill, not even to be that rewarding. So I mean, if you guys can control the more heavier recoiling guns, then definitely check that one out. Moving on, we have the M13. Now, this one obviously does have recoil, but it's not that bad. Like, this one is definitely one of the more controllable guns, probably one of the easier guns to use in this game. But me personally, I just feel like it's a hit marker machine. I can't explain it. I know the time to kill is really good on paper, but using this thing in game, I don't know, man. I just feel like it just deals too many hit markers, but maybe that's just my personal experience that is happening to. But next up, what we have is the FFAR. Now, I hate to say it, but this gun is surprisingly really good. You guys seen the time to kill chart for this one. For some reason, they buffed it again, and now it's like one of the more dominant ARs in the game. But like I said, I don't really know how to build this gun out, because if you build out like a traditional AR with a suppressor on the muzzle and then you equip the sight to it, you're losing a lot of recoil. This gun already has a lot of recoil as it is. Because if you guys see here with the maximum recoil control attachments, see how it jitters left and right? I don't really like that because it's not really that accurate. Like, yeah, it'll stay in one place, but when it bounces like that, it can get a little iffy on long range kills. Next up, what we have is the Rap H. This is a extremely dominant gun right now. Me personally, I just don't like it because it's LMG. With LMGs, you're gonna move a lot slower. You're gonna reload like 8 seconds long. So just for that reason right there, I just can't get down with LMGs. But the time to kill on this thing is extremely dominant. So this is another gun you guys can look into. And the recoil is super manageable, especially with this build I have for you guys. ADS speed is pretty quick for LMG, so it's another good one. So now, if you guys made it this far in the video, just if you guys can, just do me a favor, drop a like on the video, make sure you're subscribed, and if you're looking for something else to watch from me, I made a lot of tip videos, and this is one of them to help you improve at Warzone.